Premier, we have, I think over the last year, we've all been expecting certain things to come to fulfillment. Top of my head, I'm thinking of the hotel groundbreaking for the hotel in the East and the City Hotel as well. They were both promised before the end of this year, the groundbreaking. And yesterday you mentioned, yesterday's press conference you mentioned PADI legislation and open budget. We haven't seen, your administration has not delivered according to your timeline on the implementation of PADI, for example, the Information Commission that was being placed by April, I think it was. And you haven't delivered on one cycle of the open budget process, which started last year. Can you comment on that and then tell us why should the voters actually expect that these promises on platforms will be kept?
I'd be happy to, Mr. Johnson. There are two aspects to your question. One is that we have delivered on PADI. We passed the legislation and we said that by the end of the year that we would make that operative. And even in anticipation of PADI, from a sort of open government process, we have been very free in disclosing reports and tabling information. In fact, you'll even have seen a number of ministers tabling leases and all the rest in the House when there's not even been a requirement to, as well as going out and consulting with people on all manner of issues, from charities to human rights and all the rest of it. So we have delivered on PADI, and we have set ourselves a deadline by the end of the year with regard to making it operative. And it certainly has also been clear that it's going to become operative in stages. And certainly within the various ministries, there have been people who have been busily working in terms of getting their documentation and information that needs to be out. From open budgeting, I find that question more curious because, in fact, you'll recall last December I tabled and also put online the pre-budget report. And also, you'll recall, pre and prior to the budget, we certainly went out on a series of town halls. We've also put on the website the budget statement and also the big budget book. So we've done, in fact, we are following through. Now, your last question is the most interesting and probably the most political and also the most intriguing, and I'm speaking to the people of Bermuda now. The issue of why to choose the PLP as the next government is really because you look, one, at our record, and you recognize that as a government and as a party, we have been freedom fighters for change. Change to improve the lives of Mr. and Mrs. Bermuda, Mr. and Mrs. Everyman. That's what we've done. We've stood, you look at the people who are reflected, or right now because of our banners, you may not see all the past leaders and movers and shakers of the party, but in terms of whether you're talking about democratization, one man, one vote of equal value, the issue of opening up and fighting for social and economic freedom, that's what we have stood on. And that has also been how we have been an effective change agent in this country. And if you were at the meeting last night, you would have heard Senator Ingham speak to that as he went back and regaled people and reminded them of what we stood for. But as you look forward, because you can't govern by looking in your rear view mirror, what we stand for going forward is think of change and now juxtapose it, because we're going to talk about choice. And that's the choice that people have to make, is who do they trust to go forward in representing their interests and investing in the people of Bermuda. People who will not shrink or shirk from taking the decisions that require, at a time when there is economic hardship, to help people and to invest in them. And what you'll see is in the speech and in my comments, both in the front and the back, is that I'm making very clear the choice that has to be made and why there is a legacy of leadership by the Progressive Labour Party in fighting on behalf of the people of Bermuda. And that's why I expect on December 17th and in the advance polls on December 11th and 12th that the people of Bermuda will vote for a PLP government again.
So I just want to follow up on that, your answer about the open budget and Paddy's. Are you saying Paddy's already operative because it's not?
No, I said at the end of the year, the end of this year. But I said that
expect it to be operative.
You should expect it to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with the open budgeted thing, you know, my understanding is we're supposed to be entering a second cycle, meaning the mid-year review which you promised hasn't happened, which should have happened in October, I think. And the pre-budget hasn't happened either.
No, I think what you'll say is that if you're looking at what we stood for, we said that we would have a pre-budget report, and we did that last December. I think you probably amongst most would say that there have been some interesting intervening events so that we're not meeting in Parliament and we are currently in an election cycle. But certainly the commitment has been made and open budgeting continues. And we will continue with the town halls and pre-budget town halls and all that we promised. And as you'll see also in the budget, the platform statement, is that the MTEF framework is alive and well, the medium-term economic framework, and that is part of how we look at budgeting on a multi-year cycle and also in terms of our planning as to the priorities. But open budgeting is here to stay under a PLP government.
The other question is, Mr. Bean said that the government rejects a national motto. Are you going to formally do something to change it then? That might actually go down there.
I don't think he said that. He can speak for himself. No, he said that the mantra going forward is about cooperation and having and embracing a national identity.
Yeah. Sorry, can we have Mr.
Sure, of course you can.
I heard you say, Mr. Bean, this government rejects the national motto, quote, can you say that?
Yeah, life's about progress. And for 450 years, we have been living under a motto of where the fates may lead us. And what I mean is that we're embracing a new concept, which is going to guide our actions going forward. And that means, instead of rather the fates may lead us, it's focusing on becoming the masters of our own destiny. And becoming the masters of our own destiny comes through competition and cooperation.
Okay, so my question becomes, what is the, are we going to actually formally try to change the motto?
No, no,
So you just suggested
no.
that we should.
Yeah, it's again, it's a thinking. The way people think is the way they act. Okay, and so try not to take it further than what it actually means. Right? What we're saying is that it's time for us as a country to become the masters of our own destiny as one collective. That's all. Okay.
Any further questions? Thank you very much for participating. Premier? Conceptualize.